NerdCast, the show where everything's made up and we have no idea what's going on ever.
No, and we don't stick to any sort of time schedule also.
Just ignore us.
Yeah, forget it.
Sweet. Pause. Yeah. Search something else. Probably
just
best.
Play us in the background.
So today for you, we have 2 reviews. So we've got another Spider-Man review. This time it's for the comic books for the Amazing Spider-Man 1 point series. So it's only 1.1 to 1.5 at the moment, but we'll talk to you about that soon. And
Doctor Who, Peter Capaldi's first issue in comic form. It's pretty cool.
It's going to be good.
Yeah.
But before we start all that, we're going to go over to Beanox for the news. Well, that didn't work.
No.
Beanox, what the hell, man?
Come on. We're not paying you at all, but we can pay you for something that you should do, which is nothing at the moment, so come on.
Alright, we'll do it.
Yeah.
Over to us for the news.
Woo!
Last week DC announced a bunch of movies just giving away everything they've got for the next 5 years, and we're going to move over to Will for what films they're actually doing.
Hi! So, I've got them here because I can't read. Well, I can read on here, but not remember things. So in March 25th, we already knew Batman vs Superman Dawn of Justice was coming along with Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill as their characters. Then August 5th, we've now got Suicide Squad. You like Suicide Squad?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Then in 2017, so this is 2 years. No, 3.
3 years.
Jeez.
So they're not doing anything next year, are they?
No, next year they're going to have a little sleep. Well done, DC. So, 2017, long way away, a Wonder Woman movie, that's right. So, they're going to introduce her in a different movie a year before, and then she's going to have her own movie.
It's 2 W's, Wonder Woman.
Alright. And then, November 17th, there's going to be a Justice League movie. So, that's right, they're going to introduce 3 of the characters from the Justice League, and then give us the movie. Because we're going to forget Green Lantern never happened. So we've got Batman, Superman and Wonder Woman, and then the rest of the Justice League are going to be introduced in a big movie.
They just appeared.
Well, it's clever, isn't it? And then you've got 2018, something that's aggravated us, and we'll get back to it in a bit. March 23 will be The Flash, but not with Grant Gustin as The Flash. Yep. What? Anyway, then July 27th will be Aquaman, you know, the guy that will probably be in the Justice League, but no one will know who he is until that point.
No one will like him if they do know who he is, but Aquaman's badass.
He's amazing. You can't control sharks, can you? Oh, okay, never mind. 2019, there'll be Shazam on April 5th with The Rock. And then June? Yeah, June. Justice League 2, with probably more characters, because, you know, why would you do the same thing twice?
Why are they doing a Shazam movie?
I don't know. Because I don't think he'll be in the Justice League. Will he?
Strange.
Hope not, because I can only stand a little bit of rock.
He has been, but yeah, whatever.
And then 2020, yeah, right, 6 years. April 3rd will be a Cyborg movie. And June 19th, Green Lantern. That's right, like 6, 7, 8 years probably after the first Green Lantern, we're going to have probably another origin story. Back to, actors doing stupid things. Why not have Grant Gustin as The Flash in The Flash?
Yes,
Why the hell? They've just gone with some new guy.
DC have said that Stephen Amell is the only Arrow or Green Arrow in the DC universe, just at all. So he's the only one. Why didn't they do that with Flash? Who knows? This is so frustrating.
Ridiculous.
What are you doing, DC? You've got continuity errors everywhere.
Like, they've actually specifically said he's Barry Allen, because you could have Wally West, who's another Flash.
Yeah.
But no, they've gone, yes, definitely the one that you're watching on TV will be a different actor in our movie because we can. And like, the actor is about the same age as Grant Gustin, so it's not like, oh, he needs to be the same age as, you know, Arrow and everyone in our movies. No, they've just gone, just need a new guy. And why not?
It's so bad. Lego Batman was announced earlier this week, you're right? Yeah, awesome.
Great.
So this is going to be a similar style to the Lego movie, which I loved.
That was great.
Will loved. It was awesome. So it's just going to be that, like, same old sort of stupid Batman, like, darkness, no parents, sort of Batman thing going on. I think it's going to be awesome. hopefully, I just hope they're not going to kill the Lego Movie franchise
after one movie.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's more about, like, there is a story. It's not like, here's set number 563 in your movie, now go buy it.
Yeah, hopefully not. So, we'll see what happens there. Should be alright.
Yeah.
Back to us for some reviews. Earlier in 2014, The Amazing Spider-Man rebooted from issue 1 again. Sort of a reboot, but more of a continuation on from Superior Spider-Man, which you should all check out as well. Right here we've got The Amazing Spider-Man issue 1.1 through to 1.5.
Yeah.
Although the fifth one is over there, we don't...
Although
we've got it.
The fourth is sitting over there.
Anyway,
equal rights to both of us, so we've just got 2 each.
We've got 2. So they're called Amazing Spider-Man Learning to Crawl, and you would think that they would start with the restart, the issue 1 that was recently released this year as well, and they would be part of that. But no, they go right back to the 1962 Amazing Spider-Man issues. And we only really realised that because Will had started reading from Amazing Fantasy number 15.
Yeah, I decided to take on the challenge to read from the start to the end of Amazing Spider-Man, and along the way I noticed some similarities and then went, these things.
So they basically just give more context to Spider-Man between Amazing Fantasy 15, where he becomes Spider-Man, and into issue 1 and parts of issue 2 as well of the Amazing Spider-Man series.
So one of the first things that you'll notice in the series is there are lots of hidden Easter eggs within it. One of the first ones that pop up is Quentin Beck, who you'll know as a certain villain in Spider-Man's future at this point in his life. And he's working behind the scenes in a couple of scenarios, and you realise that what he's doing there will impact Spidey's life later. Also, other villains, not just Quentin Beck, are also scattered around some of the panels in the background and even in the foreground that eventually helps him in certain situations. And lastly, there's a science fair scene, and there's some Marvel heroes from the future and the past scattered around there at the science fair.
Really cool.
Rhyme time.
Good rhyme.
Yeah.
Rhyme time. So the art style in this is still very classic, much like Steve Ditko, but just slightly updated. It's just a really good continuation from those earlier issues as well. And some of these, they've actually redrawn, like pixel for pixel, if you can say that, because they're drawn.
Yeah.
Exactly like the original issues. So they have images from the original issues redone in this, and it looks awesome. I'm looking at one right now. Looks sweet. You're probably seeing it on the screen. And in some frames they've actually redrawn the original ones, but added little things into it that fit in with the newer stories. So there's one where Spider-Man is leaving the Fantastic Four's Baxter building, and Clash, who is the main enemy in this, who only appears for these 5 issues, he's just in the background. Obviously he wasn't back in 1962, but they've added him into these ones, which I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and then a frame after that, they even spin it to a different perspective of the same frame. That thing, which was quite cool. It was like going inside the mind of Steve Ditko as he was drawing it, and then just spinning it forward a bit.
Very, very cool. They've done this really well. It's definitely something to check out.
So the main story of Learning to Crawl is about this, apart from just Spider-Man's learning to crawl, there's also the learning to crawl, I'll say it again, of Clash, who is a kid that I can't remember the name.
Clayton Cole.
That guy. It's about him learning to crawl, sort of with his own life, because he's a sort of, basically Peter Parker, a sort of a nerdy kid that doesn't know many people. He's just joined a school because he was homeschooled. He was a really private, sort of posh home. Then he hears about a Spider-Man appearance, because back in the 60s comics he used to do TV appearances as Spider-Man. That's how he got his first money.
And at the same time, Clayton's been making his own superhero outfit and stuff, contacts Spider-Man, and they kind of have like a bit of a battle sort of thing.
But it goes wrong for Clayton.
But it kind of, he wants a battle, but like a fun sort of wrestling, fun little battle to film so that he can hang out with Spidey. But yeah, like Will said, it goes really, really wrong, and basically it leaves him hating Spider-Man much like Electro.
Yeah.
So the art style of this battle, and then whenever Clash turns up through the rest of the comics, looks awesome. It's really like the colors are almost like inverted, or just some other sort of color tones over everything, because Clash is all about sound. He uses other people's sound as his energy to attack, and it looks really good.
It's a really interesting way to do it, because usually you just see sort of ripples, or there's like weird just overall textures to things, but whereas this, when someone speaks, you actually see their dialogue going back towards them, which is it's an interesting move, and it's something that sort of sets this apart from the Amazing Spider-Man issues 1 and stuff, because they were quite basic. They didn't even have the bam noises. They were just completely bare. So it's a big move for Perez and the Herring.
Sure.
Those guys,
So bold.
literally.
Bold.
So overall, it's an amazing read, and it's definitely worth either picking it up if your local comic book store has the old issues, or just wait for it to come in a trade paperback, which won't be too far off. But the story itself is a bit stock standard, and it's the usual origin story to a villain. As we've already said, it's quite Electro-like and isn't overly unique, but at the same time it offers so much backstory for the Spider-Man we now have, so it's definitely worth a read, and always going to pick up.
Right?
Yeah, I just didn't know what I said there. Always going to pick up.
So Will, what are you going to give this?
I'd probably go 7.5. It's, as I said, a good read, and there's a few good Easter eggs to have fun spotting.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I'd give it about a 7. So the art style is really good. It is a good story in continuity with the original Amazing Spider-Man series. But yeah, like you said, like we've said, it's still a fairly stock standard issue. So yeah, all right. Over to our next review.
Yeah, off it goes.
Doctor Who.
Peter Capaldi started his first series of The Doctor 2 months ago, and it's taken 2 months to get a new comic book with his face in it. And this is it, issue 1, Peter Capaldi and Titans Comics, Doctor Who. Yes. Right.
Being issue 1, they haven't given us much plot to work with just yet. But basically the premise of this comic is that Clara wants to go skiing, and they land on an ice planet that is no longer an ice planet. Someone's actually changed it, they've terraformed it into like a tropical forest kind of planet, so it's now inhabitable. So that's the basic idea. They meet the people who actually take them hostage, then they discover something in the planet that leaves us in extreme suspense for issue 2.
Yeah. So that's the basic overall premise of at least what we've gotten from this one issue. So it's a common theme within these Doctor Who comics so far. There's a sort of introduction and a little double spread page of the logo and titles and in credits.
Much like the TV show, really.
Exactly, yeah. So this is what basically happens. You open it, it's whatever that is, and then you go straight into the comic. Reading it's quite cool. Oh, what's happening? There's some, extreme close-ups of people. Something disastrous is happening, and then yeah, that happens. And then you're straight into that, and it's like just like it. You got the little intro before you actually go into the TARDIS, and the story commences with the Doctor, who changes what. That's going to be a segue. This is still going to be a segue.
So it is. And now we have a segue into an unrelated topic. So the artwork is quite good. It's quite detailed, with some fairly prominent kind of black lines outlining Capaldi's face. And it does quite look like Capaldi's face, but Clara often doesn't look like Clara. Sometimes she does, sometimes she doesn't. And the consistency between the faces is not there.
No.
There isn't any. Sometimes Capaldi looks like Uncle Ben from the new Amazing Spider-Man movies. And sometimes he looks like Capaldi, sometimes he looks like an alien.
Which is okay.
Yeah, because he is.
Yeah, but in terms of physically appearing.
Sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't. There's a fairly horrifying face of Capaldi's
Sonic
check
check.
too far in, which is just bizarre.
And another thing is the sonic screwdriver is completely different. It's like, yeah, Tennant's sort of tip and just a tube. I don't know if they have not watched Doctor Who before, which isn't true because we'll get to that in a sec, but the Sonic is just not what the Sonic is at the moment, at least. There are a lot of like tidbits on the most recent series, which was really cool. And this came out this week, so we'd only just had Mummy on the Orange Express, which is episode 8 of the new series, and this one has some references all the way up until the Caretaker, so it's quite current in terms of continuity. And the Sonic doesn't look like that now. No.
Perhaps it's a future Sonic
Maybe.
that we're unaware of.
But that's a weird place to drop it.
That would be a weird way to kind of show everyone though. So
Yeah.
who knows?
The Doctor speaks of Matt Smith not very highly,
No,
really.
not at all. He seems to hate
Yeah.
his previous self. It's
It's
bizarre.
really strange. You know, he loves showing everyone his jelly babies, but talk about the bow tie and the fez. Oh, no.
It's so hard.
And there's a lot of other subtle references to the most recent series. They've also completely gotten his Doctor down in dialogue form.
Awesome.
There's like the sort of observation, which is something he says, and it's like observation semicolon.
Yep.
And then he continues
He
speaking.
states something.
And then he says answer. It's just represents his sort of outside look on the human life. It's perfectly documented.
And Clara seems to be, she's been captured pretty well as well, being her bossy self.
Yeah.
When a spunky or something.
Spunky. Don't say spunk.
I don't know, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Some monkey cross skunk. Skunky.
Skunky, that's
My
it.
bad. Spunky.
That doesn't...
Steals her hat and she orders it. She says, "You hat now!" Which is just exactly what Clara would
Perfect,
do
yeah.
in the series. So they've captured both of the characters really well.
It's a stunning issue. Visually it has its moments, but in terms of how it's been written and how it's presented, it's really good, and it's definitely worth picking up.
Yep.
And because it's the most recent Doctor Who issue, you should be able to find it at your local comic stores.
And you've actually found them in news agencies, haven't
Yeah, at least in Australia. I don't know about
Yeah.
other places, but news agencies have these issues of Titan Doctor Who comics, so you can go there as well if you want to.
you? Cool.
So wrapping this up, what would you give it?
Oh man, since we don't know much about it yet,
Yeah,
I'd probably hit up a 7 again.
yeah.
I'd like to see more. I'd like to see where it goes. But yeah, all in all, they've captured them really well from the series. It feels like you're watching an episode.
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe a 7 at this point in
7?
time. Might go up later.
I'd probably say 7.5 again, surprisingly.
Oh, jeez.
But that's probably just mainly due to my love of Doctor Who. I can't score it very low. It's a great comic, and you know, if you're in America, it's $3.99. If you're here, it's not. It's
like
a
$6 or something.
damn trans change price. But yes, pick it up if you can, and if you can't, well, you're doomed, and you're gonna live a long life. Both of those things at once.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Thanks for joining us for this entire episode. If you're watching it, it is going to be split into various parts on YouTube.
Yeah.
But if you chose to watch the entire episode, good on you. Thanks
Yeah.
for sticking
Joining.
around.
And not like falling over from
Yeah.
confusion. Yeah, that's exactly what I meant.
Good.
Yes.
So join us next time. I believe we are reviewing a iOS game.
And it's free, so you can check it out now if you want to.
It's
If
free.
you want to.
Amazing Spider-Man Unlimited.
But don't write amazing on it, because you probably won't find it.
Spider-Man Unlimited.
Yeah.
Good. Check it out. It's really fun, but you'll see more about that next episode.
Yeah, we won't say an actual time, because that'd be stupid.
We suck at that.
Yeah.
Anyway, good.
We'll have to wrap it up this one now. Hi.
Yeah.
So let's do that.
Good, right, after you, sir.
Okay.